Okay, so you bought yourself a fancy espresso machine, you got yourself a really nice grinder, you're about 3, 4, 5 months into it. What does it need? Maintenance. Just like everything else, you got to take care of it and clean it. So this is the Atom grinder by Eureka. This is a good pairing to go with like the Rocket machines or, you know, New Alpha Salmonelli, something of a higher caliber that you really want a good grind. So I'm going to show you how to take it apart, clean it, put it back together. Give it a little TLC. What you're going to need, 2.5 hex wrench, Phillips head, a vacuum the beans out, and really that's about it. And then a brush and, you know, just generally clean it up. So make sure you shut the gate valve off. Make sure that you also, if you have this screw right here engaged into the bean hopper, make sure you back that out so that when you're pulling the bean hopper, you don't break it. The other thing that's in here, well, let me vacuum first. Hold on. Yeah, no, I heard you. I'm gonna unplug it. There, okay. You saw it was on. Unplug it. So take this rubber ring out of here and you can clean that. What that does is that's a buffer between the hard plastic of the bean hopper and the metal frame, and it absorbs vibration. So it's actually a good thing. So we're going to take these 3 screws out. The nice thing about this grinder is when you take it apart, you're not actually unscrewing the top barrier. The whole thing comes out and it's on springs and it pops out. Other grinders, and it's not out of adjustment when you put it back together, it goes right back where it was. So no big old calibration like is some of the others that you actually unscrew the top burr, and every time you unscrew it, you're changing the calibration. That's the nice thing about this grinder is you're not messing with the calibration so much. All right. Well, you can see it needed cleaning. See the gunk in there? Right there. And there's the chute right here. There's just all kinds of stuff. So we're going to take it apart. We're going to take the front off too. And on that looks like it's a 3mm. Yep. And we're going to take the top burr out. Remember where these all go and don't lose them. And if you do lose one, they are metric. I have done this once before, so you are learning just like I am. Look at the stuff in there. Oh, mamma mia. Clean it out. You could unplug those, but I'm not going to. I don't like to mess with stuff like that. I do see that in the in here, there is some coffee and stuff. Get rid of all that. Jeez Louise. Get rid of it. I think what happened, I noticed right in the beginning, see this little rubber? This is a rubber, like a dam that keeps the coffee from coming out of the chute. And I think it was out of place just a little bit, probably from the last time. It kind of clicks in up here. Make sure you get that back in place, otherwise the coffee's going to be able to float inside the machine. Also, look at it right here. This is the device that causes it to break up the clump. This breaks up the clumps, so you won't see as many clumps. The other thing we're going to do is take off the top burr. These 3 screws right here, big old Phillips head. Don't forget to make faces and noises as you're doing this, because it's not going to work unless you grunt and groan like I do. There was a little girl over in Indonesia that her mother came to visit the Bellevue store, and she was so excited. This little girl watches all my videos, and her mother said, you don't have, she's just pretending, and she says, you don't have to really let it steep for 5 minutes. And the little girl says, no, Gail says this is the way to do it. So if I tell her to grunt and groan as she's doing this, hopefully she will be grunting and groaning just like I am. Come on. Okay, I gotta get a big guns in here to loosen this up for me, but stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, big guns. They got it. Now we're all set. But still you gotta grunt and groan. All right, so this top bird comes right off of here. See that? So there it is. You can see all the coffee and stuff. This is from one of our showrooms. This is the real thing, real dirt. So what I like to do is get this stuff dislodged as best as I can. All the coffee up in here, get it off of these little tabs that go around, because those are the tabs that actually drive the ground coffee to the chute. Clean those off. You know, if you have a wire brush, that would be okay too. You know, don't get real aggressive with it, but just, you know, loosen up the stuff. Be careful of that zigzag up in there that breaks up the clumps. You don't want to break that. So yeah, I can see this has been out of place for a while. Somebody must have had this apart, because there's ground coffee down in the machine. So I am going to, I don't know if this comes off or not. Doesn't feel like it does. Oh yeah. Right off the bottom. Wow. Gonna get the vacuum going again. You know, you get the idea. The one thing I don't recommend doing, don't use compressed air, because what you'll end up with is coffee behind this screen, in between the two layers of the screen, and you don't want that. And it'll blow the coffee right back in there, and you'll end up with little particles in your screen, and you'll be like, what do I do now? And I'll go, I don't know. I'm just gonna wipe this all off. I have a damp rag here. Get everything as clean as you can, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details. You get the idea. That's a little bit difficult. There's a tab at the top here on this that corresponds with the plastic right here. Make sure you get that in there. I think that's why this one was getting coffee on the inside. Gonna wipe this off. I would go after this a little more aggressively, but I don't want to waste your time, because I'm trying to give you the basics on what to do. And then the other thing you can do, in between doing a deep cleaning like this, do your grinds. G-R-I-N-D-Z. Very good product. It really cleans out the burrs between the two burrs and the teeth and all really well. Can't say enough about that product. So reassembly. Let's get her back together. And again, you haven't changed the adjustment. The motor goes up and down, not the top burr like a lot of them. So you're not changing the motor. For these bigger screws, the one I was having a hard time with, it's not your typical number 2 Phillips head. There's number 1, 2, and 3. This is a number 3, so that was part of my issue. I went down and we put a number 3 to it. Thank goodness to the techs. Thank you guys. Put it back together firm. You don't have to crank on it. And you notice I'm not grunting as I put it back together. No grunting necessary on reassembly. Clean this all up. Hook this over the adjustment ring. Put your 2 black screws in the front. Hey, 1 black screw in the front. I'll get that in a bit. The chrome one goes back here. 2.5. Ooh, guess what we forgot to do? Hold on. The face goes back on. Let's get this back together first. Otherwise, we'll be not able to put it back together. All right. Your number 3 for that. Firm again. I have to make this so they can actually use this grinder again. Without the face kind of dangling, wouldn't be good. I know that's going to be another one of those bloopers. I can see it all now. All right. I'll get that other screw off the floor afterwards, but you get the idea. Put it back together. For some reason, it's a chrome one in the back and the other 2 in the front that show are black. Tighten them down. You don't have to crank on them, just firm. Put the rubber insert back in, and there's a notch that corresponds with the notch up in here. Push that in. Hop her on. Open up the gate valve. Put the power back on. Really well. Oh. Duh. There. You have to push the button with this portafilter. I wasn't thinking about that. So hey, it works. There you go. That's how to keep your grinder clean. And in between, like I said, use grinds. That's really a good product. And then do this every, well, it depends. If you're doing a really oily bean, I would do it every probably 4 months or so. And if you're not using a really oily bean, like these were more of a medium roast matte finish, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. It will work a lot better if you keep it healthy, right? It's just like your heart. Congestive heart failure, grinder failure. Stay tuned for more videos like this where we show you how to just keep stuff working good, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.